Thank you again for the reintroduction. If you enjoyed the first presentation, this one is largely similar, except this time rather than looking at salpingitis and nephritis as an infection with PID, we were looking at ectopic pregnancy. So once again, this study did not meet the definition of human subject research, and therefore we did not require IRB approval, and we have no acknowledgements to disclose. So again, I'm starting off with some definitions. So social determinants of health, SDOH, conditions in which an individual's access to money, power, resources, influences health equity. Ectopic pregnancy is the condition where a fertilized egg implants outside of the uterine cavity, which can be a life-threatening condition responsible for up to 2.7% of pregnancy-related deaths. Once again, we have our ICD-10 codes here listed in the same table as before. So basically, these are used to represent social determinants of health when it comes to billing and coding practices within the ICD-10 system. Okay. So why did we choose to look into ectopic pregnancy this time? So similarly to salpingitis and nephritis, many of the patients coming to the ED present with symptoms such as missed periods, irregular bleeding, extreme abdominal pain, cramping, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, very similar presentation to salpingitis and nephritis. It's particularly true for those with limited access to primary care and those who rely on emergency care settings for the majority of their care. Our literature review had yielded prior studies have linked adverse outcomes in ectopic pregnancy and SDOH-related factors. So to better understand this phenomenon, we use Z codes and their data to enable the identification of modifiable risk factors and support the development of interventions to reduce the disparities in ectopic pregnancy outcomes. Our study objectives exactly the same as the one before. Characterize the demographic and clinical profile of these patients with documented SDOH Z codes, explore their healthcare utilization and management, and then align with the national priorities to improve social determinant of health infrastructure and support the broader movement toward integrating social context into risk stratification. Our research included a retrospective propensity-matched cohort study using de-identified electronic health record data from Trinetics, exactly the same as the last project. So we used the World Health Organization definition for reproductive age females age 18 to 49. Our study period was January 1st, 2000 and through January 1st, 2024, and where they had to have an ED visit with the diagnosis of ectopic pregnancy. Once again, we created 2 cohorts and data was abstracted on May 23rd, 2025. In the first cohort, we had documentation of both ectopic pregnancy and 1 or more of the Z codes. Cohort 2 included patients with ectopic pregnancy and no documentation of the Z codes. So the index event was defined as the first occurrence of an ED visit associated with the diagnosis of ectopic pregnancy within the study period. All the patients were required to have an ED visit and at least 1 follow-up with the medical institution within 5 years to ensure that the patients had an active medical record during our study window. For inclusion, patients needed a minimum of 2 months of data prior and 12 months of data following the index ED visit. For cohort 1, the presence of a Z code on the same day as the ED visit was also required. Outcomes were assessed in the 1-year period following the index event, starting from 1 day after the index date, exactly the same as the last project. And outcome measures included clinical, procedural, pharmacologic, and psychosocial domains, with a key distinction made between outcomes assessed as new versus evaluated irrespective of prior history. So again, I'm going to go through the different time frames in month-to-month increments, as well as a 1-year overall view of the results. So after propensity score matching, this one, as opposed to the last one, had a little bit of a higher patient population. So we had 15,080 patients included in total in the analysis, with 7,540 in each of the cohorts. So within the first month post-index visit, patients with documented Z codes were less likely to undergo surgery, return to the ED, and receive pain medication, including opioids, ketorolac, compared to patients without documented Z codes, as indicated by the blue highlight on this table. Patients with documented Z codes were, however, more likely to be admitted to hospital compared to patients without Z codes depicted in the yellow highlight on this table. Additionally, while the absolute incidence of new diagnoses of mental health outcomes was low, the relative increase was notable in patients with Z codes, including significantly higher risk of depressive episodes, anxiety, and PTSD. Between 1 and 6 months post the index visit, patients with documented Z codes were significantly more likely to undergo surgery, be admitted to the hospital, and return to the ED in general. The use of analgesics was also significantly higher in this group. Mental health and behavioral outcomes showed greater incidence and risk in this population, including higher rates of depressive episodes, anxiety, PTSD, nicotine dependence, and being labeled as non-compliant. Follow-up for contraception and sterilization was also more frequent among this population. Between 6 months and 1 year post the index visit, patients with Z codes continued to exhibit higher rates of ED returns, hospital admission, sepsis, and complications following procedures. Analgesics also remain elevated, and patients with Z codes remained at a higher risk for experiencing depressive episodes and anxiety during this window. Follow-up for gynecologic care, contraception, and sterilization, as well as non-compliance, also remains significantly more common. Across the full 1 year period, cumulative outcomes further highlighted disparities. Patients with Z codes were significantly less likely to undergo surgery and experience complications specific to ectopic pregnancy, but more likely to have ED returns, hospital admissions, and develop sepsis. Medication usage was consistently higher among SDOH patients for acetaminophen, opioids, and ibuprofen. Significant increases in mental health diagnoses were also noted, including depressive episodes, anxiety, PTSD, and opioid-related disorders. Being labeled as non-compliant, and it was additionally higher in the Z code group. And lastly, gynecologic follow-up, contraception follow-up, and sterilization care were significantly more frequent in patients with Z codes. So one finding of this study demonstrated that there were higher rates of repeat ED visits and hospital admissions, along with fewer early surgical interventions among the patients with documented Z codes, which align with previous reports of disparities in access to utilization patterns across socioeconomically vulnerable populations. Patients experiencing social risk factors rely more heavily on ED care, often due to barriers accessing timely care and outpatient services, similar to the last presentation. These patterns highlight the need for further research on integrating SDOH screening into the ED workflow, with developing targeted pathways to reduce disparities in ectopic pregnancy and surgical access and follow-up care. Oops. Another key finding of our study was the disparity between pain medication administration between patients with and without documented social determinants of health. Specifically, the study had highlighted that patients with documented Z codes were less likely to receive pain medication within the first month following the index visit compared to those without said documentation. The reasons for this finding exactly are unclear. This may be due to patient or provider factors. Prior research has shown, though, that emergency physicians may underestimate the severity of pain experienced by individuals from marginalized or high-risk demographic groups, contributing to inequities in analgesic treatment. The study also highlights the disproportionate burden of new diagnoses of mental health conditions among patients with documented Z codes. Ectopic pregnancy can be a very distressing experience, and individuals concurrently navigating socioeconomic adversity are particularly susceptible to developing depression, anxiety, and trauma-related disorders. Furthermore, studies have shown that the absence of integrated behavioral health services in the ED and adequate outpatient mental health infrastructure, patients facing complex medical issues alongside SDOH often return to acute care settings since their underlying psychosocial needs remain unaddressed. Early identification of psychological risk through standardized screening tools to direct clinical inquiry may facilitate timely referrals to psychiatric or counseling services and help mitigate some of these developments and escalations of mental health disorders. Interestingly, however, patients with documented Z codes in our study were more likely to pursue sterilization and contraception compared to patients without these Z codes. Prior research has shown that low-income women are more likely to seek longer-acting or permanent contraception, but often face structural barriers, including mandatory waiting periods and consent requirements. Previous studies suggest that women from lower socioeconomic backgrounds may experience both implicit and explicit pressure to use contraception and limit family size, with physicians more frequently counseling these patients on long-acting or permanent options. These findings align with our observation of increased rates of contraceptive use and sterilization in the SDOH group, and may reflect a combination of increased patient desires, targeted counseling, and system-level influences. When it comes to limitations, these are largely the same. So we used an existing database, which may be subject to inaccurate or missing information. Likewise, the data set is de-identified and aggregated across multiple healthcare systems, which means that we cannot account for site-specific differences in SDOH coding practices, ED staffing, or local referral networks. With that, Z codes are infrequently and variably captured across healthcare systems, with documentation rates typically below 3% of patients, leading to potential misclassification, underestimation of SDOH burden, and selection bias in analysis. So again, this study demonstrates that patients presenting to emergency departments with ectopic pregnancy and documented Z codes experience significantly different clinical trajectories compared to patients without these documented codes. Overall, the study shows that research analysis based on documented ICD-10 Z codes for SDOH factors mirrors existing literature in illustrating the negative relationship between women's health and social determinants of health. These Z codes provide standardized documentation for important social risk factors and should be given additional consideration in physician documentation efforts to accurately record the elements which may contribute to worse outcomes. With improved utilization, Z codes may give physicians additional data points, allowing them to incorporate social context into the management of their patients. Further investigation into the utility of Z codes as a research tool is warranted given their broad applicability and their use in statistical analysis to help elucidate the relationships that may be driving adverse health outcomes. If you're interested in learning more, our manuscript about this is available in the upcoming volume of the American Journal of Emergency Medicine in December, and it is already available on PubMed. All right, so everyone's going to start using Z codes, right? That's what we got out of this. Wonderful. Well, thank you all. I appreciated the opportunity to present both of my projects. So yeah, thank you.